Gamers who pick up Gears of War 2 will get 15 multiplayer maps for their money, including 5 updated blasts from the recent past. Every copy of Gears 2 comes with a code to download the Flashback map pack, a collection of 5 retooled multiplayer areas from the first game. We're talking Gridlock, Mansion, Canals, Subway, and Tyro Station. All have been given a facelift and in some cases slightly tweaked to bring new life to the maps Gears fanatics have come to know so well. We fired up both games to see how the new versions compare to the old. Let's start with Gridlock, easily the most popular multiplayer map from Gears of War 1. I've probably played this map 1,000 times, and so have most hardcore Gears multiplayer fans. First off, every one of these 5 maps looks sharper and cleaner than its old counterpart, and Gridlock is no exception. The greenery is beginning to come back to this ruined street scene, which doesn't do much to change the gameplay, but definitely looks nicer. The weapon placements in all these maps are the same as those in the previous game, although you will be able to randomly cycle them if you like. But in Gridlock, everyone will basically still be rushing that default sniper rifle up on the raised balcony and the boom shot under the archway. Over at the Phoenix family mansion, things have brightened up as well. In Gears 2, there's no more rainfall, which makes everything easier to see. The setup is the same, and there are no major changes to the scene. Step inside the building and you're treated to some stunning particle effects as the sun streams in through the roof. The bright light outside the front doorway also makes it harder to see enemies there, which could make things interesting when the fight moves indoors. A favorite pastime in Gears 1 multiplayer was taking a chainsaw to the sofas and wooden furniture in the mansion, either to deny it to your enemies or just to kill time. But that's much harder to do in Gears 2. These are some strong pieces of furniture, and they'll take many more hits than their predecessors. Destructible cover has also come to Gears 2, and although it doesn't have much of an effect on gameplay, it can be distracting to see pieces of concrete flying off the corner you're trying to take cover behind. Another of Gears of War 1's most popular multiplayer maps, Canals, is also back, and this time it's completely iced over. There's no more of that spectacular Unreal Engine 3 water moving through the canals this time around, but there are some great reflections from the ice on the walls. Other than that, things are pretty much the same as the map from the previous game. However, there are some small changes. The railings on the stairs that lead up to the default sniper drop points have been removed, making it easier to rush upstairs from spawn. Once upstairs, you'll notice that there's a bit more room along the hallway leading into the middle bridge. It's a subtle change, but it should make for some interesting close combat situations. And don't worry, just because Canals has become a frozen waste, that doesn't mean you'll be slip-sliding around all over the place. You'll be just as sure-footed as in the previous version. The Subway map has a love it or hate it relationship among Gears of War 1 fans. Personally, it's one of my favorites, but I always thought it just a little bit large for 8 players. But now that Gears 2 supports up to 10 players, it's just right. Of all the redone multiplayer maps, Subway has seen the most obvious changes. Let's start outside. Like Mansion, Subway is dried up, vastly improving visibility. Now you'll be able to make out enemies easier at a distance, which should please snipers and torque bow aficionados. And remember the openings up top that let you barely see into the station below? Well, the planters that once obscured your vision there have been removed on either side, which opens up some serious tactical opportunities. We recommend sniping from the side or dropping grenades on the poor saps fighting it out below. Speaking of grenades, the revamped Subway is a perfect place to make use of the stickable grenades in Gears 2. Don't like that enemy following too closely? Just tag a poison grenade to the wall and teach them a lesson. Inside the station itself, you'll notice one other small but important change. It's notoriously easy to get stuck down on the tracks in the Subway map, but Epic has helped alleviate that problem by adding wooden ramps to the tracks on either side. It's a nice touch that won't go unnoticed by a lot of players. Of all the choices of multiplayer maps to revisit in Gears 2, Tyro Station is probably the oddest. In my experience playing the original game a lot, Tyro is one of the least played maps online. Maybe that's because of the train that tends to whip through the map at inopportune times, killing anyone in its path. As you can see, the train is still very much a part of the updated Tyro Station map in Gears 2, dealing indiscriminate death to bots and noobs alike. There's not that much that's different in the revamped Tyro, but this is another good map to use sticky grenades on. Other than that, it's all about covering your corners, psyching out the other side, and keeping your head off the bridge. All 5 of these maps are a welcome addition to the Gears of War 2 experience, and I'm glad to see Epic took the time to revisit some of the environments that Gears fans have spent so much time in. As you can see, aside from the aesthetic changes, the developers have taken a pretty hands-off approach to revisiting these maps. Will Epic bring more of these maps from Gears 1 back from the dead as downloadable content in the months after the sequel launches? We'll just have to wait and see. Until then, I'm heading back in to snipe some fools.
I never thought I'd see the day.